Hi, I'm Jack Gately from Gately Academy, and in this lesson we're going to talk about home inspectors and the real estate licensee requirements relative to home inspectors. But first, a quick editorial or piece of advice for you as a new agent. During a home inspection, you are more likely to be representing the seller or the buyer. And just advice here. If you represent the seller, so you're the list agent, my strong advice would be to meet the home inspector and the buyers. They'll highly likely be attending the home inspection at the property on time. And then, for the most part, keep a low profile, set up your laptop at the kitchen counter or whatever, make some phone calls in your car, but get out of the way. It's not your job to be tailing the home inspector around, commenting on this, correcting him on that. No, that's not your job. Keep a low profile. When it's time to have the home inspector report back to the buyers, don't be eavesdropping on that conversation. Excuse yourself, make some phone calls, whatever it happens to be. Find yourself scarce. Get lost. It's not your job to be over their shoulder constantly. Your job is just to provide access to the house and let them do their thing. This is the time for the buyer to give with the home inspector a complete run of the place so they can really make sure that they're making an educated decision in buying the property. Now, if you represent the buyer as the buyer's agent, your involvement with the home inspector is probably going to be at a higher level, more interaction. You're going to be asking some questions, especially if you think there are a couple of things that might need further clarity. But once again, it's time for the home inspector to shine, not necessarily the agent, so please keep that in mind. All right, so here are the 3 things that you must know from a licensee perspective, and there are always good questions for the exam. So number 1, as soon as an offer is accepted, you must distribute to the consumer a fact sheet from the Office of Consumer Affairs, a home inspector consumer fact sheet, and kind of lays down the process, why a home inspection is important, that type of thing. And that must be done upon a written offer, a written accepted offer. Pretty straightforward process there. If you don't have one at your agency, you can very, very easily find one on the internet. Super easy. Just go to the mass.gov website and you'll find the most updated one over at the Department of Consumer Affairs. 2, upon request, you can provide a full list. Ooh, that does sound like a good test question. Not a partial list, not your favorites or anything like that, but a full list of all the authorized home inspectors in Massachusetts. The best way to do that is provide a link to the state website where they're all listed. Perhaps at the bottom of this video, I'll provide that link for you. And 3, you're prohibited. You cannot recommend a home inspector. You're not allowed to do that unless, and this is a very, very important, unless you represent the buyer. If you're a buyer's agent only, and you're only representing the buyer, then you are allowed to recommend a home inspector. So let's just review that for you really quickly. If you're a seller's agent, no, you cannot recommend a home inspector. If you're a dual agent, no, you cannot recommend a home inspector. Sub-agent, no. Facilitator, no. Only if you are a buyer's agent only. If you're a buyer's agent, you can recommend a singular home inspector. If you're a buyer's agent, you could say, hey, I like any of these 4 or 5 home inspectors. But if you're any other type of agent, you cannot do that. Clear, perfect, clear cut, you can't. Only if you're a buyer's agent. All right, so hey, that's this video for home inspectors. I'm Jack Gately from Gately Academy. See you in the next lesson.